What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Let's jump into this week's topics. First, for this week, Horizon is going to be removing the Easy Pay option that they've had for so long, and I believe that will include Tower Hobbies as well, as far as what I'm aware of, being that they're under one umbrella. Horizon owns Tower. I have to imagine that the Easy Pay option is going to be disappearing throughout their whole umbrella. Now, what Easy Pay did before, if you weren't familiar, is kind of allowed you to purchase something but break it up into 3 easy payments. But now they're pitching it as they're expanding their options for payment and going to make PayPal Pay Later option easier and maybe have some more options for you down the road. But to make room for that, they say they'll be removing Easy Pay. That's actually going to go away at the end of next month. In the email, it says that they encourage you to look more into the PayPal Pay Later options if you're looking for that additional financing help. So if you enjoyed Easy Pay in the past, it seems like it will just be a fond memory now. Next for you truckers, Brazen Scale has released leaf spring mounts for the Vanquish F10 axles. These should work with both the F10 portals or the F10 straight axles. So if you're trying to mimic some sort of vehicle that ran leaf springs, this will give you an option, as much as I protest. But in all seriousness, if you're just looking for the flexibility to replicate something that you have seen or wanted to in the past, Brazen Scale's got those options. They also have chassis that are specifically made to go with leaf springs as well. So if you're trying to put together something easily, go visit Brazen Scale, see what they've got for you. Next, UDIRC has released a new version of their 1002 SE Fire Rhino. All one word, Fire Rhino. I don't know exactly what that is. There's no caricature logo to go with it. Sounds like the last redhead at the bar. But this looks like a solid axle 1/10 scale trophy truck. We talked about UDI not too long ago. There's some very affordable type RCs. We haven't seen them as much in the US, but evidently they've been fairly popular in Europe and in Australia, brands that were much more well known. When I had talked about them the first time here just a few months ago, sounds like people overseas had plenty of experience with them. And after doing a little bit of Googling, I did see that there were some versions that looked like this vehicle announced in like 2021 or so. But this one appears to be updated or new, a youth version, as some of the translation says. Not 100% sure. But if you're looking for a look-alike UDR, then check out UDI. Absima has a new release coming. This is the 1/8 scale Bronx. It's a Bronco, obviously, but it's not a Bronco, it's the Bronx. Definitely the closest look-alike to a new style Bronco that I've seen that hasn't been licensed. It seems like they licensed those to everybody not too long ago, but I guess that Absima has decided to skip that step. This doesn't look overly wild. The details on this are a little thin. It's a coming soon type thing. I assume that we'll see maybe some more details before long. We did see from Absima maybe a couple of years ago their Sherpa platform, which if I remember correctly was kind of like a TRX4-esque version of a vehicle. But it never made big waves here stateside. I do believe that you see them much more commonly in Europe. We'll keep an eye out for more details on this. They do list it as a 1/8 scale, so I'm not sure if it's going to be kind of that 2.2 size scale truck overall. Either way, maybe there's going to be some fun details. I'll watch for it. If there is, you'll see it here again. Capo posted up this new option part that they'll be releasing for that R34 GTR model that they're releasing. And it's a true 3-pedal setup. That's a right-hand drive vehicle. And this has got a proper 3-pedal box that goes in there. And they're all actually actuated. So it shows the gas being applied and then the clutch coming in inverse to the throttle throw, as well as the brake being applied separately also. So kind of cool how they did it. For that type of model, I get it. I think it is a fun detail that they added. It's not going to make me buy the couple $1,000 GTR, but I have to appreciate this. Element has released a new version of the Sendero HD. This one is the Titanium. Looks kind of greenish to me. The colors look great on that kind of old school Dodge-esque looking body. The Sendero HD bed on the back is just like you've seen it before. The body is just like you've seen it before. It's basically just a new color. Underneath, same Sendero as you've seen with the HD and the regular Sendero before that, I believe. None of the newer parts that they put in the SE, so you won't get the forward motor or the inner fenders, but you likely will get bearings at least, so you win some, you lose some. I do enjoy the color. I always enjoyed the styling of that body, and the bed on the back I think looks great. Last month we talked about the release of the FMS 1/10 scale Atlas. This does look a lot like their 1/24 scale FCX 24, but it differs in many ways. It's not a hard body, it doesn't have portals. They both have the flatbed style rear, but this one, basically the same platform that you saw under some of their other, well, 1/10 scale, but labeled 1/6 scale, like the Jimny 1/6 scale. Pretty much everything underneath is about the same. They're 4-link front and rear. They're 4-link with chassis mounted steering up front, so not exactly ideal there. It does have somewhat of a forward motor type setup. This FMS platform isn't a wild performer, but it'll get the job done, and the cost on this is pretty low. It's only $250 as far as it's listed on their website. We joked at the time that this could be what they're doing with all of the underpinnings from all of those Mashigans that they weren't allowed to sell, and maybe that is true. Who knows? For you 1/7 scale ARMA owners, Protoform is now releasing a pre-painted version of that C8 Corvette body that they released sometime last year. Coming in the blue color that you saw in the press release photos from that body originally, but now you can get it completely done, which not a bad deal because it's a long ways around those bodies. They're a big body, a lot to paint. So if you just want to get it complete and throw it on top of your felony, wouldn't blame you. It does use the wider or staggered stance of the felony platform. So if you have an infraction or a limitless, you will have to get those other parts to convert yours over to that same style if you want it to look like it does in the photos. I'll put a link to that body in the description below, as well as links to the rest of today's stories. We don't talk about bashers on here often, but Redcat did release a new one last week, the Machete, available in both a 4S and a 6S. Pretty typical truggy style looking basher. Beyond that, I don't know a lot of the details, except today, or Monday when this is being filmed, Redcat made a post saying that there was something discovered with those vehicles that wasn't seen in testing, but did get found in the actual first batch that was received and has already started to go out to dealers and customers. So they're giving people the option of either sending the vehicle back for a full refund or telling the customer that they can wait the possibly up to around 3 weeks to get the replacement parts to fix whatever the issue may be. And if the customer is willing to wait, Redcat will also give them a $50 gift certificate for the purchase of further Redcat parts. I didn't see any of the details yet to figure out exactly what was happening and if it was happening to 100% of the vehicles that were released, or what the full story is. I'm sure that some of you may have already heard it, or maybe some of you experienced it. If you did, let me know. Be interested to hear the whole story. On a somber note, Marlin of Marlin Crawler passed away last week. He was an icon in the off-road world, specifically to many, many Toyota owners out there. Many of you may have only known of Marlin Crawler as a model of an RC four-wheel drive vehicle, and not knowing that there was a huge backstory and a very important part of 4x4 history that went along with it. Condolences to all the family, friends, and fans of Marlin. This Wednesday will be the start of season 4 of Livestream Takeover, the show that just never ends. So come hang out with Matt and I at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for more BSing about RC and things somewhat related to it. Come join us, hang out in the live chat, or watch it after the fact. And also this Wednesday will be episode 4 of Road to the Rockies, where you'll get to see my progress on my Class 1 911 build. So, gonna be an issue on. We got a lot done, a lot to show you. Looking forward to getting that video out. And of course, as always, Friday Night Live, still cranking right along. Come join into any of the live shows. We'd love to have you. Last week, I asked you all, who would you like to see return to the RC market, or enter in for the first time? Either way, we talked about companies like Novak and Bowlink and just a ton of those companies that have just faded away over time. But for this week's question, I want to ask you all, What's the thing that you want most for your RC hobby that's not directly related to your RC? Is it a new camera so you can make some YouTube videos? Is it an easy up so that you can go to events and have a nice base camp going? Or what? I want to hear. New toolbox, tools specifically, 3D printers, tons of options, so many things that can go right along with RC, but aren't always just hand in hand. So put it in the comments below. Love reading the comments every week. It's my favorite part of the Scale News update. But with that, appreciate you all for watching. Hit the like button again before you leave, subscribe, comment, all the things. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.